Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting. It is October 3rd, 2023 at 6 o'clock. May I have a roll call, please?
Teresa A. Morse, present.
Joseph Shank, present.
Jess Sexton Duranian, present. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and I'd like to thank all those in service, both past and present, and our first responders. The meeting tonight is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube at a later date. 1.4, Chairman's additions and deletions. I would like to add a 3.2, that is an appointment to the Council on Aging that we just received. And that's all I have. Teresa, do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okay. Joe, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay. 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes for 8/1. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 8/1/2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. Teresa?
I'm all set.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, we have to do a roll call because yeah.
Teresa A. Morse, yes.
Joseph Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. 2.1, public hearing for community energy aggregation. I guess at this point we'll turn it over to our former interim town administrator, Ross Perry.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. This is a public hearing that's sort of the next step in the process for community aggregation. With us online via Zoom is Rafita from Good Energy. Hi, Rafita.
Good evening.
Are you going to summarize the program or?
Yeah, I have a small presentation that I will be using to update the overview about what's been happening and the next steps. So it's a very short presentation. So if the host could kindly enable screen share, then I will.
Okay, I will come right out and take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. And after the overview, if anybody has any questions, so that could be directed to me and Ross as well. So, yeah.
Okay, I can go over the screen share, huh?
Thank you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Thank you for having us today. So I am Rafida Rahman and I work as the Sustainability and Engagement Strategist at Good Energy. And at today's public hearing, like I said, I will be presenting an overview about the plan updates that's been happening and the next steps of the aggregation program. So to begin with, I just wanted to give a small refresher regarding how this program works. To begin with, I'd just like to say that Unitil, which is Townsend's utility service, will continue to deliver the electricity, maintain wires and poles, and respond to outages. However, we, Good Energy, will work with the town of Townsend as a consultant to select an electricity supplier to source electricity that's needed for the entire community. And in doing that, there will be no change in the service quality of the electricity, just the price of the supplier section of your bill will be the only thing that will change. Now, this is just a small overview about what's already been done. So the town meeting authorized to authorize aggregation. The town partnered with us for making them their aggregation consultant. And the aggregation plan was released in 2023 for a month of public review, and today's is the public hearing. Plus, the plan was also made available as a hard copy at the Townsend CEA website, as well as it was available in the town administrator's office, the town clerk's office, the library, and also the senior center. So the program offers three options regarding products. The first being the default, which is the Townsend standard for automatic enrollment. And this also offers a little extra renewable energy than the state standards. However, future savings are not exactly guaranteed because we cannot always get to know what the rates will be of the utility further in advance. However, our track records have made it possible for us to has ensured savings for a lot of our customers before. Then there are two products. One is the Town Basic, which does not really have any extra renewable energy and only meets the state's minimum requirements. And another one is the Townsend Plus, which adds around 100% renewable energy. Then for launch, we also have an education and outreach plan that 30 days before the program starts, each customer is eligible for automatic enrollment and will get two pieces of mail. One is the postcard that introduces the new town program and the date of the community meeting to learn more. And the second is a letter that has all the program details and directions on how to opt out via phone, web, or prepaid mailer. And before and after the mailings, we do a robust campaign of public presentations, social media posts, flyer, press releases, video interview, whatever is really needed and suited to each municipality.
Do you want us to hold questions? Or do you want to answer them directly?
I'm almost done, so after the...
I can.
So moving forward, like I said, that the public review has been open for a month. However, additional questions are welcome even after today's public hearing. And we have also scheduled a consultation meeting with the Department of Energy Resources later this October. And hello? Oh, sorry.
Yep, you're still here.
Yeah, sorry. And DPU is also kind of developing some additional guidelines, which we're kind of reviewing as well. So that's something that we will be taking a look into. And after incorporating some changes that we get from further comments, we will present a final plan to the board for potential vote this fall. And if approved, we will submit it to the DPU. So, and we also actually did get some comments from the website, which I have kind of incorporated here. The first one being regarding some people wanting to know about the program. And then we've also sent them responses and also let them know about today's meeting in case they want to come here and ask any questions. Then there was someone who wasn't exactly wanting to enroll in the program and was asking us about a third-party supplier, which we also responded to that the Townsend currently doesn't have one. And we've also cautioned them that in order to kind of shop for an electricity supplier, it's kind of careful to evaluate the terms and conditions, particularly whether the price is fixed or could be variable, and whether or not if there are any penalties for early termination. However, we have also advised that if they want, they can always join our program later. And we've also got some comments where people did show a lot of interest. Again, we've also responded them regarding today's public hearing and let them know that the program wouldn't probably launch for another year.
Excellent.
So thank you. This was it. So if anybody has any questions, please.
Yes, we just need to fix something here, for a second. We'll get to it in a minute, but in the meantime, I ask people that are on your patience, we'll get that fixed quickly.
Who is that?
I know.
So you said all residents, and I know that is just a way of speaking, but, it isn't all residents that are going to be receiving this. If you're already on one of those other plans, already purchase it outside of Unitel, you won't automatically get an invitation, correct?
Could you kindly repeat the question, please?
So, for the person that's already bought from a third party,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to receive the invite originally. There's gotta be a special way to get them in, correct?
I don't think they will be, but they might be notified regarding if they want to join the program later, but they wouldn't be I don't think they will be exactly advised to leave that supplier and come with us right away.
Okay, and there is currently a solar option to join a solar bank that's being offered to residents of Townsend. Would that preclude them from getting the information about joining here or getting the notifications?
No. So this program does not affect solar at all. I mean, the only thing, the compensation that you receive for excess generation from solar does not change. That the only thing that changes is the price you pay to pull electricity from the grid. So our program works really well for people with solar on their homes. So when they generate power, they get the same value as today. And when they have to pull power from the grid, we hopefully, ensure that it's not just cheaper, but also cleaner.
So this is a little different. I'm not talking about a person that has solar on their home. I'm talking about a person who's has joined a solar farm.
Awesome.
So they basically buy from, the solar farm becomes their third-party supplier. It's not a private solar system.
Well, if somebody has subscribed to a third party,
And that would be considered whether it's solar or.
they're basically not in the program. So
Okay.
this program will not poach from people who've already gotten a third party program.
Okay.
If they decide they don't like it, they can apply at some time in the future.
Oh, would it be appropriate, because this happened, would it be appropriate if maybe somebody says, oh, I got that email about we can get into the solar farm now, but if I do it, how's that gonna impact? Can I still do this? You can't do both. It's one or the other, third party.
It sounds like that solar farm they're talking about is a third party generator.
Right,
So they would not be involved in this plan.
so, okay,
They should just they need to do what she said on the thing, which is they need to check the terms, see if it's a variable rate, see if there's a early termination clause. They need to make that evaluation, just like they were picking any other third party.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. Thank you, Chip.
Rafina, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
What's the timeline from when we submit it to DPU until we think they're gonna approve it?
So if we submitted the DPU and considering like their new timeline that they're suggesting. It's supposed to be within 180 days, but right now they are still kind of developing certain guidelines, mostly format related, which still hasn't been finalized and shall be finalized, I think, by the end of the year. But that shouldn't kind of affect our program. So so we have to kind of, which is why, you know, our plan hasn't still been finalized. We will kind of see if we need to make certain tweaks. But if we do submit it, I think it should be within 180 days, if that's what they actually follow.
Excuse
thank
me,
you.
sorry to interrupt, but two people named Henry Smith and Jackson James want to be let in. Does anyone know who these people are?
I think that's Hartley, that's inappropriate, please. I don't know. I'd kind of like to not let anybody in that we don't know. I mean, how can we do this, Eric?
I don't think we can do
We
that.
can't.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately, Chaz, we have to let him in, and we can boot him. We just have to boot him if they do something inappropriate.
Okay.
All right, I'll let them in then. Thank you.
But yeah, just keep an eye on it, Hartley. Okay.
Yes, you as well. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I ask her a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, all right, just out of curiosity, you said that you've had a pretty good track record of saving people money. Do you have a rough idea what the individual may be able to be saving percentage-wise? I know it's just on the supply section, everything else stays, but do we have any kind of an input we could relay to the citizens of town?
So it depends on how much electricity you use. So mostly it's around roughly $50 to $60 a year, not any windfall savings. But we do offer price stability and more renewable energy. But usually against the utility, we save around 10% while being cleaner. And sometimes it can be more. Like in last winter, the energy prices were crazy and we were saving our communities about 50%.
About how
While
much?
50.
50%, while also being cleaner as well.
All right, thank you.
So I think the savings is, she's saying could be 10 to 50% on the generation side, not distribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to be clear, people understand, we can't guarantee the savings. Now, when the bids come in, the board could decide not to accept them if you don't think it's going to be a good deal. So you still have the option of, you know, saving money the first year, and there's a good chance that maybe the summer rates are less than our aggregation rates, which is sort of what's happening with the municipal building now, but it's less than the negotiated rate by a small amount, versus during the winter, we saved a lot.
All right,
But we want to be careful that people realize there's not a guarantee of saving money.
I did see that right now. All right, thank you.
You.
I think this is compromised, and I'm really not very pleased with what's going on. I would like to get some direction from the TA on how we are proceeding with this, because this is completely inappropriate. I'd like to stop the recording right now,
Yeah.
and I'd like to end the meeting.
All right, I will do that.
Okay.
I'm off here now.
Make a motion to adjourn?
No, we gotta go into executive, Chaz. We can go into executive session now. So,
Yeah, I mean,
let's,
so I think the thing that we have to contemplate, Chaz, is what we may need to do is just say we're no longer going to allow any member of the public into the Zoom, and that means we're going to have to boot all the members of the public that are on the Zoom. The Zoom will only be for you and the presenter. and everybody else is just gonna have to watch it on television. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we're not gonna allow any public into, we're gonna ask all members of the public to leave the Zoom room.
And for a reason,
'Cause
the
we're-
Zoom meeting is compromised.
Yeah, we're being Zoom bombed, so we're not gonna let anybody else in. And so rather than precluding people from participating, we're just gonna have all members of the public leave the Zoom.
Okay, do we need a motion for that?
No, I don't think there needs to be a motion. I think we can just, you as the chair can just direct that to happen.
Okay, so I will say that we're going to end public participation in this particular Zoom. We are going to close anything out. The only people that will be in the Zoom would be the select board chambers, myself, and the presenter. So if all others, could they please log out of the Zoom, and we're not going to let anybody else in.
Can I add something to that, Chaz?
Sure.
Everybody will be out, but we'll still be recording the Zoom, so people can get the information, they can see what happened,
Yeah.
and if they have questions or anything, the recording will still be available.
And they can come here in person.
And they can come here as well. So
Yes.
we're not like closing off the meeting, this meeting's still available. I think is it broadcast live or delayed?
Yes.
Okay, I just took it
Yes.
off.
Okay,
You
so
know,
you
so
can,
that's off. Now, what would you like me to do with the Zoom and the computer in the assistance room?
Well, we're gonna ask all the members of the public to leave. So if you're not a member of the Board of Selectmen or the Good Energy representative presenting, we're gonna ask you to leave the Zoom. And then you can put it back on. We're not gonna let anybody else in. You can put it back on channel 9. Because we're just gonna have, it's just gonna be chat.
Can we just kick all them
Channel
off
9, I
individually?
thought you said this would be an executive session.
No, we're,
No, we're gonna,
not yet, we
eventually
have
will
to
be an
finish
executive
the
session, but not right now.
regular meeting first.
so go in there and just oust everybody other than us.
Yeah, so Laurie left, and then we're just gonna have just visiting, and Andrea and Ron gonna need to leave.
Ron, just visiting, Andrea, all have to check out.
Ron, we know, and he's part of the
I
energy.
mean, we know Andrea, we know Ron,
But,
I know who just
but
visiting
Ron's-
is. But like,
But we can't
Gotta
pick
gotta
and
be
choose.
consistent.
Okay.
We can't pick and choose. They all gotta go.
Even
Thank you,
though-
everybody, sorry about that.
Ron, we're waiting for you.
There we go. So now the only people in the Zoom are our Good Energy rep and Chaz.
Someone's in the waiting room, but we're not letting them in.
We're not letting them in.
Okay, perfect. Now go back. Holy smoly.
Okay, so you can turn it back on.
I hope that didn't go live over.
Yeah,
Probably
yes,
did.
it did,
Yeah. No,
That happened one night in Breathing Room.
yeah.
Nobody else gets in.
It did live, it went live, but I feel bad because I know Ron's on the energy,
Can we-
but there's no other way to
Can
do
we,
it.
well, it was live there, but we can edit that part off of,
We'll have to,
I'll have to ask Dave.
we'll have to talk to Dave about that.
figure that out.
Okay, we're about to go back on.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have order, please? We'll discuss what we can talk to TCAM, what we can and can't do, Joe.
right.
All right, afterwards, in regards to that. I apologize profusely. This is something that's completely out of our control, ma'am. I do apologize for have you go through that. So I'd like to be able to pick this up where we left off, and I think there was a question in regards to the savings, Joe. Is that what you had asked?
Yeah, we're gonna go live now, yes. And, she did answer it.
Hold on, I faded to black, I gotta put it back on.
Hang on, Chaz, 1 second.
If you could just repeat your first question one more time, because that was right when everyone was running around.
My question?
Teresa's first question. That was right when everything happened.
I actually think probably for the purposes of the mic, we'll probably just pick up
Okay, we're
the
back on live.
I don't know.
All right, Chaz, you want me to just ask her what the savings was again and just start from there?
Please.
All right, so we'll go back, and you did answer it, but just so the audience can hear, what
Sure.
is savings to the residents that you have seen so far?
Thank you for the question. So it depends, it depends on electricity use, mostly about $50 to $60 a year. Not any windfall savings, but we offer price stability and more renewable energy. However, usually we do save around 10% against the utility while being cleaner. And sometimes it can be more, like in last winter, when the energy prices were crazy, we were saving our communities 50% while also being cleaner.
Thank you.
No.
You were saying something.
I think that was,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. I'm good.
You good? Anything else, Teresa?
No, I'm good.
Okay. No, and I'm all set. So Ross, anything? Where do we go from here?
I think we've gotten a few inquiries that Rafita talked about, people asking questions. She's answered them, and those will become part of the plan that gets submitted to DPU. I think there are a couple comments that were sent to this office, to the town administrator's office, and the selectmen, that we've also passed along. So all the public comments that have been received have been answered and will be included as part of the plan that we submit. So this, well, the selectmen could decide to close the public hearing in the portion tonight. I believe Rafita said we will continue to receive questions through the CEA website, go to town's CEA, and we will answer them forever. We'll answer questions. As long as this program is going, the questions can get answered. But I think this accomplishes the 30-day plus public review period, and we can move on to the next step.
Okay. Well, if there's not anything else, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay. Ross, I thank you very much. Rafala, thank you very much for informing us, and thank you for the work that you've done for us. And I know that there's some more that you got to do, so I look forward to seeing where our next steps are.
We'll
Thank
send you an updated plan with any comments, with any updates from DPU on their requirements. And we'll be back asking you to vote on that plan and approve it sometime in fall.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye. Oh, Teresa Amos, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Charles Sexton Duranian, yes.
Thank you both
Okay.
very much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Sorry for the
Thank
glitches.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Ross, thank you very much for coming.
All right.
There you go. Thank you, Rafita.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, for 3.1, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Greg Smith as Assistant Director for the Council on Aging, effective 10/3/2023, with a start date of 11/1/23.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
Oh,
No, I think this is what Karen had come in when she explained that this is what she wanted to do. I see that she submitted all the right paperwork, or they submitted all the right paperwork. So all those in favor?
Teresa Amos, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Charles Sexton Duranian, yes. Our addition 3.2, I will entertain a motion to appoint Natalie Call as a this is just a Council on Aging member, effective 10/3/2023.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
Is there
No.
is there an end term on that?
Here's the paperwork.
Well, that's the volunteer. The volunteer response form doesn't have a end date. But we should probably have it until June 30th, 2024. And if that needs to be amended, we can do it at a further meeting.
Okay. With an end date of June 30th, 2024, then have the record show. Any discussion?
No.
Good guess.
Okay. All those in favor?
Teresa A. Morse, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. All right, thank you, Greg, and thank you, Natalie. Both do great work for the town. I appreciate you both. 4.1, set date for fall meeting.
The time has come for, I know it feels like we just had one, but we're gonna set a date for our regular fall town meeting. That special town meeting, I discussed with the chair 2 possible dates. One was Tuesday, November 14th. The other one was Saturday, November 18th. I know we've had a couple of different requests that have come in from some of the older folks in the neighborhood who said that they would prefer a Saturday date for purposes of ease of getting out once it gets dark and their ability to stay for the full meeting. I think that's a discussion, as you and I talked about, that the whole board should have as to what they feel about when they want to do the town meeting. I don't know if any of you have heard any of those requests either for people to do it on a Saturday.
Yeah, I've heard a request and a report for Saturday, and I also heard a request, and I don't know if that's possible, for the van at the library to be used to help bring people there, have them like meet at the library and come, I don't know, but they thought that would help.
I mean, I think that's something we could definitely do, regardless of the date that we did it. We would have to coordinate with the Council on Aging to see if they could get a van driver in to do the work. And the only challenge about that is that van driver would need to be here for the entire meeting, because they would need to be here to take them back to the library at the end of the meeting. So it would be someone who was willing to commit for the entire time, and we would probably have to pay them from probably about 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night, or if we were having it at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, probably from about 8 o'clock until whenever the meeting was over, and plus the time to deliver people back to the library at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there would be a cost. I mean, even if that's 6 hours, it's not going to be an exorbitant cost because of the.
So I guess my question was, I think, Teresa, you said to pick these people up at the library. Is that what you said?
Well, I guess there's a van that's what they told me.
The Council on Aging van, I think is what they're
Council on
talking about.
Aging van, and I guess they get.
Well, I mean, it's
dropped-
here, but we can pick them up
Right,
anywhere.
I guess they get, these, a couple of people said, well, I have people that arrangements already to have be dropped off the library. Why can't I just be dropped off there and then take it to the meeting? And I
Well, if
say,
they get dropped off the library, you can get dropped off at
well,
town
I
hall.
guess they
There's
go
more
with
parking at the
group.
library,
There's more
and it's
parking.
easier
Plus
for people to park and walk.
Right.
Plus, they, I think that their thoughts were they can get stuff done there and then come in. I don't know, but I had more than one person present me with that, so that's why I'm bringing it forward.
So we haven't investigated that. I can certainly talk to Elise and Karen and see if they could get a driver to do that, with the understanding that we would have to pay someone. We'd have to find the money to pay someone for, several hours, and that person would have to be here for the entire time, so they'd be here to take people back.
I did my diligence.
You did.
I was asked and I said I would ask.
I did have conversations with others about that. I've had conversations that Saturday is not a good day too, and as Eric said, he and I had talked about it, and I just wanted to throw it out to the board that we have a Tuesday and we have a Saturday. I know that there was also questions in regards to having children being watched there as well, and that's something that I was going to be talking to the recreation director in regards to that as well, to see if we could promote that. So, I mean, we could beef up what our offering is, like seeing if we can get the van and seeing if we can get some childcare to happen during a town meeting, or we can have a meeting during the day on a Saturday. Is kind of what I thought this is what we have in front of us. So.
I will say the one thing that does concern me about it, I understand all the arguments for a Saturday. The one argument I would say against a Saturday is if you are a parent that has a child that does any kind of sports, your Saturday may be shot and you might not be able to be here. So we may be cutting, those Saturdays in the fall are like big soccer days, and so.
In November?
Oh yeah, that's when they play outdoor fall sports. You know, it's just one of those things. Like,
Yeah, council on aging is 3 years. Secretaries.
but was she a new one or for?
New one, okay, and promotion.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
So 26,
So the 26, you said 26?
2026.
Okay. Well, when we're done with this, we can go back and revamp that. So that's just the thing to think about, I think, is, you know, what are we,
Well, I
the benefits
remember
of
we
it.
had that one town meeting, Chaz, out at the library during a Saturday. We had a lot of response. It's kind of COVID, I get that. I'm open either way. I mean, I think it's kind of, you know, what are our thoughts? What is going to be the best way to, you know, help out the citizens? I guess that's the way we got to figure that out. What's the right thing to do? You know, and I think if we look at the history of some of the town meetings and the specials, we've had a lot of older people, not old, older, that
Fine line there, Joe.
fine line that come to it, and they have a lot of input, and I think we have to really consider that.
And
So
that's exactly why I wanted us to have a deliberation in regards to this. I'm kind of like Joe. It doesn't really matter to me personally. I've heard, you know, opinions on both sides. I even talked to the town moderator in regards to his thoughts on it. He's more traditional. He wants the Tuesday as opposed to the Saturday with justifiable reasoning. So I guess when do we have to have this decided on, Eric?
Well, so we would have to post the warrant for the 14th, would need to be posted on 2 weeks beforehand. So it would need to be posted on Halloween.
Okay.
If we want to do on the 14th. So there is only one meeting scheduled between now and that posting date. So and that would be the meeting where we would be opening and closing the warrant. The one thing I was wondering, and I could ask town council if we could do it, would be to schedule basically both dates in advance. Just say we're going to do it on the 14th. If we don't get a quorum, we're doing it on the 18th. We're just going to continue it to the 18th, and we can try it that way. You know, that way we're posting it for both dates when we post it, so that, you know, because my concern about either date is, are we going to get 75 people? You know, that's always my concern, and so.
What I heard your concern, and I also have the same concern. If we want to bring the parents and a younger crowd in, that you're right. Saturday mornings in the fall is sports time. Would like a 1 o'clock meeting or 2 o'clock? What would you think of that, Chad?
Yeah, I mean that if we're going to get a quorum and we're going to get active participation, I'm open to anything.
Yeah, I mean, but
Saturday's usually all day. I see my grandkids, you know, it's
Yeah.
usually a Saturday, they leave in the morning, they come home midnight.
yeah, I mean,
Different games, different places.
the one other concern I have about the 18th is, if for some reason we don't get a quorum on the 18th, the next week is Thanksgiving. So we're not going to be able to reschedule anything for Thanksgiving. So we're talking about punting it until the beginning of December if we don't get a quorum on the 18th. And you know, then we're going to be in a worse situation about night stuff than we did before. Whereas if we tried it on the 14th and didn't get a quorum, we could maybe try to just do it on the 18th if we didn't get a
I
quorum.
like the idea of posting for both dates.
You know,
Okay,
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
I like, yeah, if we can legally do that,
yeah.
talk to council, Chaz, you're in charge, I mean, I'm good with that.
Yep. Talk to council and find out if we can do that, and I'm very open to that.
Yeah, I think other towns that know they go multiple days often post for the multiple days that they know they're going to go. You know,
I've even seen them do like another day just in case.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Yeah.
I think that would be it. This is our continuation date is going to be Saturday morning, and we may not need it because we would only be continuing it for a special town meeting if we didn't get a quorum.
Correct.
I still believe we will get more people after, at least when I don't know if things have changed, but when I did them, it was usually, you were done about noon time, so like 1 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
As a sports, all your sports events, you were done.
Yeah, I mean, with my kids, it really was, it all just depended. Sometimes it was morning, sometimes it was afternoon. I mean, yeah.
Because they could be away games out of
Yeah.
town, they gotta come back.
Yeah, and that's the kicker is if it's not in Townsend, it doesn't, if it's done with noon. And quite frankly, if my kids were doing sports, I wasn't going to a town meeting after, so I was white from the sports.
So, do we need a motion on that, Jazz?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just gonna say, it probably makes sense for us just to have a motion saying we're gonna set the town meeting for the 14th and the 18th as the continuation date, and I'll just double check with town council as to how to do that properly.
Okay.
So
Second?
So moved in second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Tuesday, March, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Okay, so we have the 14th and the 18th.
All right, so.
That's good. 4.2, request from the Historic Society to use Great Hall on November 5th, 2023 from 12:30 to 4. Eric.
Jerry's here, and I'd like.
Oh,
to-
is she? Okay.
Yeah,
So you're
can
here
you
for it?
come to the
Oh, okay.
table, please?
You're gonna force Jerry to talk?
Yes, I
This is
am.
about Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes, it is.
They're doing a presentation on Eleanor Roosevelt.
Correct, yep,
And so they'd like to do it in the Great Hall
correct.
on the 5th, which
Right.
is,
And we're going to have our yearly meeting first, and then we'll have the program afterwards. And it should be a pretty good program, and we'd like to open it up, not to just the members, but to the full community. So, but that's what I'm here for.
Well, I thank you for coming, Jerry.
You don't need a liquor license?
No, I don't need to.
That's
No, not that day.
In town hall? That'll be a first.
so that's a Sunday.
That's correct.
So that's a Sunday the 5th, so we just have to, as long as the board is okay with it, we would set up the doors so that they could be open and would close.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Probably.
I think you could just, as long as the
just as
board,
long as the board is open to it, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
And so am I.
okay, so
There you go.
we'll put it on the schedule, so we set the clock that
All right.
that week to let them be in on Sunday.
And, Jerry, can we get some information so we can post
Yes, we're
it
ready.
on the
Yeah.
on the
Yes, we're
council
gonna
webpage?
Right, we're going to give it to TCAM also, so they can put it on first.
Okay,
Great.
thank you
And
very much.
don't forget Scarecrow Festival, October 14th at the Common.
Vendors coming, that open to vendors as well?
No, it's
Not just
it's
a festival.
basically a festival for family and children and
And
things
some
like
of the
that.
scarecrows are already showing up around
Yeah.
town like that.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
And if you
they
notice,
just popped up over
yeah,
last
and if
week.
you notice little sayings on them, some of you have to
Yes.
really look at them to see what they have to say. But we've had fun with it, and we're looking forward to having a lot of families come out. It'd be nice if
Okay,
they
we'll
did.
definitely
Very good,
push
thank
that
you.
as
Great.
well.
Yeah, thank you
Looking
very
forward
much.
to
All right,
both
thanks,
of those
Shirley.
of that day.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, Jerry, if you could do me a favor, if you need the hall set up a certain way, can you let us know beforehand so that we can help you out with that?
Yes, I will.
Yeah,
No
like
problem.
chairs or however you want it set up, just let us know.
It will be chairs, and I think we're gonna need a table probably on the stage with 5 seats at the table.
And what about
Okay.
audio, video? Do you need a,
We're gonna ask TCAM if they'll.
you're gonna have TCAM do that? Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Jerry.
All right, 5.0 ARPA projects. Eric, I didn't see anything that we were talking about unless you have more information on anything else.
No, we've just got the deadline for the building assessment is coming up. So, but it hasn't come here yet, so we don't have any bids yet. But we're anticipating that. That's the only thing I would say.
Okay. And then what we covered last meeting with the fire truck.
Yes. We're proceeding with that. We got that set up.
We had all the paperwork filled out, so there's nothing else we really need on that. So,
Right.
okay, I'm good with that. 5.1 town administrator updates and reports.
So a couple of different updates. The first is we got some good news. We were approved for the next round of Green Communities grant funding. So we got 200 grand from the state. Well, actually, it's $199,950 in community and green community grant funding. So I'm assuming that's what Ron was on here to hear about.
He is also highly involved with the
community, with the energy aggregation.
aggregate.
But I did want to give Ron and the rest of the energy committee kudos for putting that together, working with Karen at MRPC to put that together. And so a lot of that is for, a big chunk of that is for the Spalding. They're doing some weatherization and lighting at the Spalding School, but there is funding set aside for this building and for the library senior center to do some work on those buildings as well. So it's good that we got that. We got it wrapped up the last one in time for us to get an application in for this round, and then we got approved. So that's good news.
That's great news. Great job, everybody.
Yeah, I saw the breakdown. That was a lot of work that you guys did on that. So that's highly appreciated.
Yes. Joe, you asked me about you asked me a question earlier, and I told you I was going to tell you, and now I've completely blanked on what your question was. So we got some news from Mart. They're going to be cutting the Saturdays off of the schedule for the shuttle bus because they're having trouble finding a driver just for that route. And maybe something that we need to kind of have the transportation subcommittee contemplate, because we're for whatever reason we're not getting any ridership on that shuttle bus.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember what it was. Joe, I remember what it was. Got it right up here. Steel trap.
If we can talk to the transportation committee and see what we need to do to work on that, I think
just
that
to see if anybody has any ideas.
Yeah.
So that would just be something I'll send to them. Update on the heating and air conditioning units. So we've signed a contract and they're scheduled to come in on the 23rd to put the mini split in the building department. We prioritize that one first because it's got staff in there all the time. This is the second one. We had a quote for a mini split to be put into this one. So it's got heating and air conditioning in this chamber. And so it's a heat pump. So we're getting some discounts on that from the state for the heat pump.
Does this one heat these, or that's separate?
It's a separate.
So just here.
It's just for this unit. So as long as the board's okay with that proposal, putting in the mini split up on the wall, we'll sign that contract and move forward with that.
Did they have an idea where they were going to be putting this?
I mean, I think we're talking about putting it over in that corner, I believe.
To fit inside there?
No, I take that back. This is one that's going to be above the ceiling. It's going to have a register that comes out.
Okay.
It's flush with the drop ceiling. We're also working to put a mini split in the rec building. So we're getting quotes for that as well, because that building really needs some climate control work. And so the discounts that they're offering on these mini splits are such that, it's not cheap, but it's definitely a good deal to get an industrial sized heating and cooling unit. And so Rob is meeting with the vendor to get a quote for that building as well.
So I know this one's gone down several times, but what was the official finding as to why we're doing the mini split? What did they find wrong with this unit?
Well, so the problem with this unit, and I think we talked about it, was the entire unit was getting frozen over because the exterior was, the regulation from the exterior was not keeping the unit from running constantly. And so it wasn't the same error as that happened down in the building department, but it was the vendor that was here, it was an ice block in the ceiling. And so that, you know, that we could run it. It is, you know, we've put up signs to not use the air conditioning, but they got it to the point where it could run again. But what they said was that it's liable to have the same problem continually.
So I'm just confused, you know, so we're gonna eliminate a complete system, heating air system up in the ceiling, put a mini split, which I get it, because it's freezing up. Is it because the unit's too close to the building out there, not getting enough air? I mean, I've done enough construction, enough building, I've seen enough of this done, that I'm just a little baffled that we're just gonna abandon what we've got because we're not really sure what's causing that.
Well, no, I think there's a difference between me not being sure and the vendor knowing what's causing it. The vendor knows.
That's what I'm
what's causing
asking,
it.
what?
Well, I will provide you the specific information. The main problem is that the outdoor unit is 30 years old. And it doesn't have a designed life of that. So that's why they said, we recommend that you replace it. Because everything we're doing to the unit is a Band-Aid. And it's liable to just go again. They don't, you know, they don't make the Freon anymore for these units. So we have to buy, you know, a really expensive Freon.
You know, and yeah.
You know, it wasn't just one glitch. There was a series of things, and that's why, you know, both of them went down because the age of the equipment is such that, you know, they're starting to fail. But I will get the official report and send it to you.
I'd like to at least see.
Sure. Yeah.
Other than, oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to spend the taxpayers' money without having a good reason for it.
Sure. Yeah. But I'll send that to all members of the board.
Okay.
So the other kind of thing I wanted to bring up, and this may be something that we need to talk about at a future meeting, but at the town meeting, the town voted to approve the solar canopy at the police station. So I was on the phone with the solar company this morning, and they said kind of the next step would be to, you know, work on the actual lease documentation to sign the 25-year lease that was approved for the town. And so I wanted to know, did the board want kind of a final sit down with the solar company about that part of the project before we signed a lease?
Well, my thought, and speaking with the police chief again just today, well, yesterday, excuse me. I missed my meeting yesterday morning, so we had a conference, but, you know, I get it, we're gonna do the solar over there, and that's really good. However, the police department and the town, we don't have in the budget to spend $3,000 or $4,000 to be hooking up all his cameras. They say they're gonna run them, and then I just don't see the town having the money to move anything that's there now to keep the police station protected. So I don't know, Chaz, what your thought is, but, you know, I'm good with going along with that, but I don't wanna create a problem for the police department budget, nor the town budget for ourselves, because ultimately the solar people are gonna benefit more than we are. So if the police department needs them cameras for security move or any electric, I think we need to negotiate that to make sure that they pay to get all that done. That's only my opinion.
So the only bone of contention on this, Eric, is those cameras. So is there a way that we can have a discussion, or you can have a discussion beforehand to talk about exactly how we're going to address the that surveillance system and who is responsible for what? so that we
Sure.
have so that we can talk to the police chief and say this is what we have, and have him agree with it before we be presented with any contract. I think if we clean that up and we get agreement from Chief Sartell, then we can just go right to the contract.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we probably need to get is, instead of the chief probably needs to get a firm price. What it would cost to have the security camera vendor move those.
Yep.
Assuming the conduits run from the building to the location they're hung, to wire it and hang them.
Yep.
And then once we know that price, then that'll give us something to say, hey, this is going to cost us X, Y, and Z.
We don't have it in our budget to do it.
Well, I understand that, Joe, but there's something that there's other funding options that Eric and I have talked about. But I would like to get a firm price on what it is, what they need to have, so that we then can see what we need to do for funding.
Yeah, so there's 2 cameras that the chief talked to me about that are on the side of the building pointing towards the parking lot, that would need to be relocated to underneath the canopy. So that's, those are the
Yeah.
but I think getting a price is the first thing, because the solar company's not going to say yes to a blank check, and until we know what the price is, we don't know whether or not it's something we can try to fit into the fiber grant or into some of the other, wiring money that we have from ARPA, or whether or not we need to lean onto the solar company and say, hey, we need to get that from you. So
Yeah,
I will work
exactly.
with Jay to get that information.
I'm good with that, Jess.
Good.
And that's it for me.
Okay. 5.2 reports from board liaisons.
I'm sorry, I had a question for town administrator before we move on.
Okay.
Thank you. So I have the list, and I just need to know, can I, I need to get the capital planning committee together and get a meeting, and we wanted to do it next week. So we know who the members are, but you mentioned that they need to be sworn in before we can have a meeting. So do I just get the list to you, schedule the meeting? What's the appropriate action here?
Well, so they need to go to the clerk and get sworn in if they haven't. Anybody who who was appointed to it and hasn't been sworn in yet needs to get sworn in.
Okay, so I will follow up with the members and let them know and try to get it on the schedule.
Yeah, and they could do that. I mean, if you have the meeting during the day, they could go into the clerk's office before the meeting and get sworn in. They wouldn't necessarily have to, they just show up 10 minutes early and the clerk can swear them in.
Is it just the 4 of us?
I have you, Mark, Hershey, is Crystal, and Jerry? Oh, that's you, I'm sorry. And Robert. Is Robert still, Robert Theron?
Darian?
He's still listed. So I will check, I will reach out.
And I think you asked a question about posting, right? So you would have to.
Yeah, no, yeah, we don't, but I didn't know if I could even post before they were sworn in. That's, so I could just, making sure the I's and T's type of thing.
yeah. CYA.
Thank you, Jess.
Sure. Any general government?
Yes, so the big thing, Eric stole my thunder once again, but
Sorry.
the Energy Committee has been working hard. As you can see, we came up with the information needed. We got it in time for green communities. We did get awarded 200,000. There's very, very strict guidelines on how it can be used. It can be used for this type of lighting, but not for that type of lighting. It's very strange. But we have a list. I presented it to the Board of Selectmen before, how we, first, second, third, depending on the money. We're gonna go over it. We have a meeting again tomorrow. We're going to, now that we know the amount, we're gonna double check the list. And then the next meeting we have, I'll bring that, an actual written example of what we're proposing, how to spend the money.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Just bring that to Sabrina to make sure you get on the agenda.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Elected boards. I don't have anything actually. I've got upcoming meetings, a lot of upcoming meetings, but I have nothing that I've had from the past week. Joe, public
No,
safety?
Yeah, same here. I mean, we just had a last week meeting. The only update, police department, him, chief and I had a conversation. He was just concerned about the funding and we got that. Fire department is doing well. Conservation, they've got some issues that they're trying to work out with, trying to get some of the projects closed out in town, so not sure how that will follow out, if council will need to get involved, but they're doing a great job, and, that's all I got.
Okay. Good.
I have I have a question for Joe on that, please. Is it possible for you, I'm just curious with your, as the liaison to, the police, when we get this van, the DAV van that we said we could park here, the hope was because we're gonna have to be early morning, go out, drive people to appointment early morning if the canopies do get up, and I understand they might not if we can't get these, that it would be helpful if they could be parked under the canopy. I guess the DAV did contact him, and at this time, he didn't know if he'd have space, but I'm wondering if there's something that you can discuss with him.
That should go to him, not me.
Oh, not you as liaison?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
I'm not, that's not my place.
yeah, the way that the chief contemplated using the spaces under the canopies was gonna be for cruisers. Because they wanted to keep the cruisers up out of the weather, and also that would be when we switch over to hybrid and electric cruisers, that's where the EV chargers are gonna be under the canopies. So we did a calculation of the number of vehicles that could fit under those canopies, and it's basically just cruisers. But I can ask him again.
Yeah, it would really help for those in the winter type of thing. We'll figure out a solution if it doesn't, but.
Not to try to blow you off, because I didn't think that.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be for him to go
Yeah,
ask.
and
not me.
I think right now, just because we don't know exactly what the cruiser fleet's gonna look like, if it goes electric, and that was just the chief's initial proposal, was that's how he was gonna operate, was get everybody else's vehicles out from under the canopies, and all the cruisers under the canopies, to keep them out of the sun, out of the weather, keep them from snow from hitting on them, and that just saved the town money from.
Thank you for taking care of that.
Do my best.
That's all I had. Thank you, Chaz.
Yep. 5.3 announcements and communications. We do not have anything in. 5.4, our next meeting will be October 17th, 2023. And 5.5, I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
So moved?
Second,
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Morse, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
And Chaz, just for the record, just for the record, I think I've said it, but I will not be able to attend the October 17th meeting.
Okay. So you will be excused, Joe.
Thank you. Get me?
All right.
Chaz, if
Yeah.
I could, I
Sure.
apologize. I realized when we talked about the dates for the fall town meeting, we didn't set an opening and closing a date for the warrant. We do need to do that. We need to set that for the 17th, because that's gonna be the last meeting before the warrant has to get posted.
Okay, so we'll go back to 4.1. And we need to set what, October 17th as the opening and closing date for it?
For the warrant, yes.
Yes. So is there a motion do we need?
Yes.
So I make a motion that we have an opening and closing date of October 17th for the proposed November 14th and November 18th date for special town meeting.
So moved?
Second,
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Morse, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
And also, I don't know, Chaz, if you heard, Sabrina found out that the actual end date for Natalie Call's appointment to the COA would be June 30th of 2026.
Okay.
So we just need a motion to amend that earlier vote to be June 30th of 2026.
Someone so move?
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Second moved.
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. No, let's
Clean it up.
let's keep the street clean.
Okay.
So we voted on the payroll and bills payable, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and I do declare. Also, an executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, and that would be the water superintendent.
So moved.
Second,
And to adjourn from executive session.
And to adjourn from executive session. Any further discussion?
Good night.
nope.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.